What's up, world? What up, YouTube? This is Jabril, aka Mr. Think Outside the Box. And this video today is going to be a little bit different, a little controversial, but it didn't feel right if I wouldn't show the other light of traveling. And this video today is about traveling while black. And it's not all sunshine and rainbows. You know, I'm normally overly positive. I never really talk about the negatives and some of the things that happen behind the scenes while traveling while black. And I'm about to get down and dirty and just talk about some of the things today. And it's not to scare you. It's basically to inform you. And, you know, the reason I decided to do this video is because, you know, I'm from Chicago. We really don't deal with anything too major. But about a couple months ago, I visited the South of, United States, South of America. Not South America, Latino America, but the, Southern United States. And I was absolutely shocked. It was like almost like out of a movie, the type of things that I was seeing. I was like, if these type of things can happen here, obviously in Eastern Europe and, some places in Russia that I heard stories, obviously it can get a lot worse. And, people are probably a lot more extreme out there. So I just wanted to make this video right now to make people aware, not to scare them, because I still travel to all of those places. But, just be a lot more aware when I'm going. First, I want to talk about when I went down to Panama City Beach, Florida. And for me, being from Chicago, I've been to a lot of major cities in the United States, but, I've never, and when I went down south, I've only been to Dallas, Texas, and then I also went to Orlando, and I went to Miami a bunch of times. But that's pretty much my only southern experience. But they don't really call that the South. I'm talking about Alabama, parts of Florida, and first, my first real experience was when I was in Panama City Beach, Florida. I was down there for a month, and they do call it Redneck Riviera. And I was seeing things like, people walking around with Confederate, flag hats, with the flag right here, flags flying out their cars, and, people, you drive by the homes, they got Confederate flags on their lawns, and, just all types of, jackets with Confederate flag. And, up north, you just would never see that. So me, that was just kind of like a culture shock. And I was like, whoa. And so that was one of the things that if from up north or whatever, you probably, you've never really experienced anything like that. And when you come down south, don't be shocked when you see it. They sell the flags and everything in stores. And so that was one of the big things, that I saw. Okay, now I want to talk about when I went to Alabama, and specifically Pigsty, Alabama. I went to another place in Alabama, and I had a wonderful time, and I'll put the name of the city below. I never had really any problems, and everyone was great. And but then I went to this other place, and we went to go visit my friend's grandmother, and this place was called Pigsty, Alabama. And I had no idea what I was getting into. And my friend, she was telling me, her friend, her cousin was part of the KKK before, and he lived, in that part of town, but he was just a former member. And so when we were going there, I just really didn't think much of it. And because I'm just like the overly like, hey, how you doing? Always smiling, always friendly. And so me and my friend, her husband, we went to go get something to eat at this restaurant. And so, we're sitting down, like we walk in, and like when you walk into a place and like in a movie and the music just skips, the track skips, and everyone just turns around and looks. It was like that. Like I walk in and they're like, what the is this motherfucker doing in here? We sit down and, eat. And it's really proper country. They got John Deere hats on and, looking real country. And so, we're sitting down. And, after about a couple minutes of sitting down and, ordering food, one guy's like, so what are you guys doing in this part of town? It's me, the black dude, and I'm hanging out with, surfer hippie dude. And we're just visiting, he's like, my wife's, grandmother. He's like, oh. And then conversation goes on for about 2 minutes, and he's like, do you know the history of this town? And we're like, no, what's up? What's special about this town? He's like, well, when he's like, you know anything about like Martin Luther King when he tried to come down here or anything? I was like, no, what's up? What happened? And then he was like, well, when he tried to come down here to this city, he was met by 200 farmers with shotguns and pitchforks. And when he was trying to make his march, let's just say he didn't make it through here. He turned his ass back around and he didn't come in. I was like, in my head, I'm just like, okay, like, why are you telling me this? And, the story keeps going on. And basically, blacks are not wanted in this part of town. I mean, they have signs, they kind of, some people tear it down and it goes back up. And I mean, they have signs that say, you know, you better get your black ass out of town before the sun goes down. I mean, true story. I mean, and everybody in town knows the sign. And I was like, you know, I keep asking some questions. I'm like, so how many black people live in this town? He's like, 0. And so, I mean, he made it, you know, I would say it was definitely probably one of the most uncomfortable situations in my life. Even my white boyfriend was like, giving me a look like, I don't know if we should be here. And then he was just telling us like, you know, he's like, but you know, people are really friendly. It wasn't like a hostile kind of environment. He was just kind of giving me the warnings of black people don't come here. And if they are, they drive right through town because they're not welcome. And, you know, he definitely brought up, yeah, we all have guns, like just to kind of let me know. So it was like, and this is 2012 now. And I could go on and on about kind of more stuff that happened with that story, but I'm not going to make this video too long. But basically, and I was like, so how many black people have ever eaten this? He's like, you're the first. And because basically, black people just don't come to this part of Alabama, and like it's a very like they know not to come there, and I guess white people know not to go in other parts of Alabama, I guess. But and then me, just a random black dude that didn't know nothing, just coming, and it kind of got interesting. I won't go into all the other details, but you know, we left unharmed and just kind of went on our way. But let's just say I'm not going back there anytime soon. And then I was on this island called Bocas del Toros in Panama. It's in Central America. You know, a Latino culture, and you know, people are, you know, black and, you know, maybe a little bit lighter than me, sometimes as dark as me, in that part of town. And on this island of Bocas del Toros, they have like, you know, this island about you know, it's about 5 minutes off. You take a boat, and basically this is where all the rich white people hang out, and I was hanging around with them. You know, my friends, we went to go to you know, a Friday evening. We're on this island, you know, nice dinners and whatnot, and you know, I'm sitting there and, you know, I'm trying to order, and I look at, you know, like the owner, there's 2 owners that own this place. I won't, you know, name their names or anything, and I'm looking at him like, I made eye contact. I'm like, I swear he saw me. Maybe I'm just hallucinating. Like, what the f is going on here? And then so I'm like, da 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 da. And then so he walks by again. I look at him, and he looks me down in the eye, and then just turns the other way. I'm like, what the f is going on here? And so I was like, oh my God. And then so I go talk to some other people. You know, I kind of tell them, you know, what went on and stuff. And so, and then I'm having a conversation by the boats and whatnot about what happened. And then, you know, he comes over with the other guy, and you know, I tell him, like, I'm gonna tell him what's going on, and they try, you know, then they introduce me. They're like, oh, this is, you know, Jabril, blah 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 blah, like, you know, he's not Panamanian, you know, he's American, you know, he's da 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 da. And they're like, oh, sorry, you know, we didn't mean to, you know, treat you like that, you know, la 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 la. You know, and then, you know, the people were, you know, kind of trying to explain to me, because I was about to punch dude in the face. They're like, you know, Panamanian, you know, people came and robbed this place before, and so they just basically don't like, you know, basically any people of color to come, you know, visit, and, you know, they kind of separated white against Pan. And I was like, you know, just breathe, son. Just breathe. And so that was the situation in Bocas del Toro. And after that, you know, I wasn't, you know, just my blood was so heated after, like, but that was that situation in Bocas. So I mean, they definitely are like, and I mean, and I've heard, you know, stories like, I mean, white people and whatever. Like, I mean, it's definitely a divide between, you know, the Panamanians and like white. There's no question about it. How people are treated by skin color and everything in Panama. But overall, I mean, Alabama, I'd never go back to. I mean, but that was just the one bad experience I had in Panama. I mean, I had an overall wonderful time in Panama, and I can't wait to go back. I wouldn't let that one situation change it, because I met so many other cool people that were cool and chill. But I just want to let you know, there is that kind of thing, and they do kind of look down on Panamanian, and, you know, they do look black in Panama. So it's like, just be aware of that if you go to Panama. And now I'll talk about a few different experiences, and I want to talk about real quick some tips, what I do when I visit different countries, especially if I'm going to go to a place like Eastern Europe, like some that I've known has history for, really racist type of places, I'll hop on a thing called like Couchsurfers. And, I'll message, local people in the town to get a good feel. Because Couchsurfers are normally really cool, open kind of people. And so I'll message them and ask them, really, what should I watch out for? What should I be aware of, when I'm going out at night drinking, and what kind of things? Because I'm pretty much fearless, and I still like to explore things no matter what's kind of going on in a place. I just like to be aware and, have the best chances of knowing what's going to go on if something goes down. And so that's one of the things I do. I hop on Couchsurfer, and I've never actually couch surfed, but I definitely use it for finding out, what a place is like, especially with like racism and everything like that, before I go if I'm, really kind of hesitant about a place. And now, I want to talk about when I was in Asia, when I was in this place called Laos. Laos was more of a funny, curious type of thing. I never felt like it was a hostel or anything like that. Laos, I had an incredible time. I mean, the children do look at you like you're a ghost. I mean, like these kids, especially when you go to small towns, they're like, what is he? Like, and when I hopped off the boat, and they would rub my arms. They're like, ooh. like the chocolate was gonna rub off my arm or something. They're like, oh, chocolate man. And so you can't, I don't get offended when it's more curiosity, even if they say something that's not, politically correct or something. I can tell when people are trying to be, straight up rude, versus just like, they just don't know better. And so I'm all for, teaching people, being an ambassador basically for America in a lot of these places. So I don't really get, I'm always the guy that's, like, hey, how you doing? And a smile, a friendly kind of vibe, because, especially when I'm outside of my own home, like, I'm in someone else's, I run with the Romans, and I definitely am as friendly as I can be until I get pushed. But yeah, so in Laos, the kids, you'll get stared at quite a bit. You'll get asked some questions, people ask me, oh, can I take pictures with you? Like, a bunch of people wanted to take pictures with me and just ask you a bunch of things that they're just really curious about. So that was in Laos. But that's it. If you have, let me hear what you think about this. Let me hear about maybe some of the crazy stories if you've traveled being black in some of the places, and what you actually think about this whole thing. And it's definitely going to be a part 2 because I couldn't fit all the experiences in this video. Let me let you know, in the next video, it's going to be even more intense than this. And I'll let you just know. Basically, next video, I was getting called niggers. Nigga, get out of here. Ice cubes and chairs chucked in my head. So that's going to be in part 2. I'll see you later. This is Jabril from Jabril.com. And come check me out on Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff. I'll see you soon. Hope you've enjoyed, and leave a comment. Peace.